In an abduction similar to the Chibok girls' kidnapping, more than 90 Nigerian schoolgirls are missing after a suspected Boko Haram attack. A team of teens' low-tech solutions to energy access gives rural areas in Tanzania new hope. And we'll go behind the microphone and learn more about the talents of a Voice of America broadcaster who brings you the news. Africa 54 starts right now.
Good evening and welcome. I'm Vincent McCorry. This is Africa 54. One of the world's most violent terrorist groups has struck again in Nigeria. At least 90 schoolgirls are feared missing after the Islamist insurgent group Boko Haram attacked a village in the northeastern state of Yobe. The two sources told Reuters news agency Wednesday that a roll call at this girls' school on Tuesday showed that 91 students were absent. Nigerian police and the regional education ministry are denying that any abductions had taken place. But parents and other witnesses also told Reuters some girls were still missing. Their disappearance will be one of the largest since Boko Haram abducted more than 270 schoolgirls from the town of Chibok in 2014. That case attracted global attention to the 9-year insurgency, which has sparked what the United Nations has called one of the world's worst humanitarian crises. Now, for more on the missing Nigerian schoolgirls, I'm joined by Aliyu Mustafa, managing editor of VOA Hausa. Aliyu, first, welcome to Africa 54.
Thank you.
And this just kind of information, this report just came in. Are there confirmations beyond any reasonable doubt that these kids have been taken by Boko Haram?
Yeah, we do have confirmations from the Commissioner of Education in Yobe State this morning. Our stringer in the northeastern part of Nigeria, Haruna Dode, was able to speak to him personally. Two things happened. One is the commissioner did admit that the incident took place. And as you indicated, this is the largest number of students that have disappeared since the Chibok situation about 4 years ago. What the commissioner declined to do was to actually give a statistic, a data, a number as to how many girls are missing. What we know, and all sources are reporting, that this school has a total student population of 704. 610 of them have been accounted for, leaving 94 missing. And so this is what most news organizations are reporting, and we are also reporting along the same line. And we're still waiting for the state local officials to confirm exactly how many from their own perspective are missing.
After the abduction in Chibok of the Chibok girls, many people expected the government to put some kind of security around the schools. Is there any indication that there's some security around schools like that?
Apparently not. The unfortunate thing about schools, particularly in the northern part of Nigeria, Vincent, is that to this day, when you go to these schools, you find one person, in most cases an old veteran who had probably served in the security agencies more than 30, 40 years ago, guarding the entrance. As you said, one would expect that after Chibok, the situation would have changed. But apparently it has not changed in most of the schools. The security is still insufficient, very insufficient. When this situation happened on Monday, people thought the militants came to steal, but Boko Haram don't go stealing in the open like that, and plus they don't go to steal from schools. They have their ways of kidnapping, ransoms, and other ways of raising money. We did raise this issue of school security, but it has not been provided as much as it could have been. And the schools are very vulnerable.
Yeah. Now, we know that some time back, parents were jubilating when some of the girls from the Chibok group were released. They came back home. But when something like this happens, from what you're hearing on the ground, what does it make Nigerians, again, feel in the midst of all this?
As you know, among the Chibok girls, more than 100 are still missing and have not been accounted for, although quite a large number of them have returned. The area that we're talking about in the northeastern part of Nigeria is extremely tense. I was there just about 2 months ago personally to showcase this Boko Haram documentary that the Voice of America produced. And there's an apprehension in the air that two things could happen. One, an attack might be imminent. Two, we're still vulnerable, we're still wide open. These states sit on the border between Nigeria and other countries such as Cameroon and Chad and Niger, and people still want to interact with each other. So there isn't really much security in terms of controlling the movement of people around in that region.
It's really sad that more and more get kidnapped. Aliu, thank you very much for coming to fill us in on this latest kidnapping. Well, Aliu Mustafa is the managing editor of VOA's House Service. Now, a violent attack on a South African police station Wednesday has resulted in the deaths of 5 police officers and an off-duty soldier. A police spokesman says gunmen stormed the rural outpost in the southern village of Nkobo shortly after midnight local time, killing 3 of the officers. The attackers stole weapons and abducted 2 other police officers as they escaped in a police van. The soldier was shot and killed as the gang fled. The bodies of the 2 abducted officers were later discovered on the side of a road. The police minister is calling the attack a national tragedy. Now, Cape Town, South Africa, which is mired in a 3-year drought, is poised to welcome the world's first major city to run out of water. The city will shut off municipal taps on day 0, currently estimated to be June the 4th. For many residents of the city's sprawling, low-income townships, water has always been a rare commodity. VOA's Anita Powell has more.
For Velakazi Rangana, water has always been precious.
Even when I was born, this is the way we used to bath.
She has never had a shower, let alone a washing machine or dishwasher at her home in the sprawling Khayelitsha township. The average township resident has for years used just 50 liters of water a day, the latest target set by the city to avert day 0. Rangana says she has little sympathy for wealthier residents who struggle to meet that.
It's been not sitting right because in a long time they were the ones who used the water. We are the ones who were not wasting the water. But now it doesn't matter now if we were looking after water. Now it's all of us. We are in the same. Like now they are in our shoes, but we were...
Neighbor Tombikaisa Dondi says the drought and water restrictions have hit her hard.
This garden makes me cry because I used to feed my family with this garden.
Cape Town relies on 3 rain-fed dams for all of its water. 3 dry years have depleted them. But University of Cape Town hydrologist Peter Wolski says the last drought at the turn of the 21st century forced the city to become water-wise.
The water demand is very strongly related to population growth. And the population of Cape Town has grown, from what I've read, by 30% since 2000 till now. Yet the water demand hasn't grown. So that campaign of reduction of leaks and what the demand management has compensated for increasing demand that would be, it would result from the increasing population.
But in Cape Town's more affluent areas, residents are worried. At several sites in the city, residents can fill up for free at local springs.
We always used to just took water for granted. Now we know what it is to struggle.
She says she has had to make adjustments.
Shower less, sharing the shower with the husband, and
Here in Khayelitsha, where many residents have long relied on public taps, the parallels to the unfair apartheid regime are hard to ignore, says local activist and volunteer Mpumi Halisi.
The upcoming struggle now will not be a struggle for freedom, but be a struggle for water.
That is a message that haunts many Cape Townians as they await day 0 and an uncertain future. Anita Powell, VOA News, Cape Town.
Well, Ethiopia's foreign minister denies there are no security concerns in the country, despite a state of emergency imposed by the government last week. Foreign Minister Workneh Gebeyehu told ambassadors who voiced concern about the declaration that it was necessary because the government could not control the unrest through regular law enforcement mechanisms. Officials made the declaration February the 16th, a day after Prime Minister Hailemariam Desalegn announced he will resign, and 2 days after the government freed several prominent critics and opposition leaders as part of a prisoner release program aimed at easing political tensions. A U.S. State Department spokesman says Ethiopia's state of emergency restricts freedom of speech and freedom of expression and is a concern of the U.S. The opposition parties, the All Ethiopia Unity Organization and the Blue Party, say the declaration will allow the ruling Ethiopian People's Revolutionary Democratic Front to violate the public's rights with impunity. Now, British aid agency Oxfam says it is investigating dozens of new allegations of sexual misconduct. It follows revelations last week that some Oxfam staff in Haiti paid sex workers in the aftermath of the 2010 earthquake. As Henry Ridgewell reports from London, the scandal looks set to mark a watershed moment for the aid sector.
Oxfam is one of the world's best-known aid agencies, working to alleviate poverty and providing emergency relief. But the allegations of sexual misconduct threaten to engulf the organisation. Oxfam directors Tuesday apologised for the damage caused and said 26 other cases are now being investigated.
So this is about aligning our people with the values of Oxfam. Some hideous men came into our organization and abused the trust of the British people, the supporters, but they were able to get away, to get a recommendation to leave. This was wrong.
Thank you.
But so we're going to change the culture.
Oxfam's Haiti director at the time of the allegations was allowed to resign before the end of the investigation. He denies any wrongdoing.
It was decent. It was as if I was meeting a lady in Belgium. By the way, I have a girlfriend here now, and I would fall in love with her. There's nothing wrong with that.
Several other charities are now investigating their own handling of abuse allegations. Many governments, including Haiti's, are urgently reviewing their relationships with aid organisations. It's likely a watershed moment in the sector, says Gemma Huldy, a former aid worker who now researches the sector.
There has been a working culture where this has been brushed underneath the carpet, and victims of this kind of abuse have not had the opportunity to speak up. We're already talking about an existing power imbalance that exists between the aid giver and the aid beneficiary. Now, if that's abused, that sends out a really very, very negative message against the entire sector.
Oxfam received $45 million from the British government in 2017 and almost the same amount from the European Union. Both are now reviewing that funding.
Unless you safeguard everyone in your organisation that comes into contact with you, including beneficiaries, staff and volunteers, we will not fund you.
Oxfam says 7,000 regular donors have ceased payments in the past 10 days.
This, of course, has an immediate impact on the people who are receiving the aid, the people that are living in disaster areas.
Victims of alleged abuse in the aid sector are beginning to speak up, and that has been widely welcomed. But there are also fears that aid funding could be cut, just as the world faces numerous humanitarian crises. Henry Ridgewell for VOA News, London.
Well, we want to know what you think about Africa 54 and the stories we cover. Join the conversation on Facebook. The address is Africa 54. We are also streaming our show live on Facebook, so check us out and share our show with your friends. Find me on Twitter at VOA Vince McCory. Now coming up, we'll tell you how a Tanzanian wind farm is putting rural areas on the grid. Stay with us.
This is a country that I chose to become a citizen. I didn't have to become a citizen. I chose to become a citizen.
I feel like America gave me an opportunity to pursue my passion as an artist.
I really believe that clean eating is a way to a more successful life, or a happier life, if you want to put it that way.
One of the things that
helps me wake up every morning is doing better, being better.
We grew up poor, and so I'm always focused on helping the working class be able to have a more comfortable lifestyle.
I'm passionate about doing justice every day. I oftentimes say that justice is a verb, not a noun. You know, I believe in action and moving the ball forward.
Well, a group of self-taught engineers in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania, is designing windmills, generating electricity and pumping water using locally sourced materials with the goal of making a difference in the rural communities. Africa 54's Paul Ndiho reports.
This is a fascinating story about three young men. One an electrical engineer by training, and the other two are self-taught handymen. I've come to Magomeni in Dar es Salaam, Tanzania to meet this incredibly talented team of young people called Team Success. They have teamed up to form a youth-led company. Along with other innovative youth, they are building windmills in rural communities across Tanzania. Hatibu Safiri is one of the co-founders.
We are using the technology which is called using the wind. A wind is a natural resource. It's what we call renewable energy. So we are using the wind to convert it into a simple mechanism that will help us to fetch water.
Their goal is to create access to cheap drinking water for rural communities, generate electricity and diversify Tanzania's energy mix towards a greener power.
So we are using the wind to make a windmill generator to produce electricity, and we are using even the wind to make something called a wind catcher for collecting water.
So far, Team Success has built more than 10 windmills in the outskirts of Dar es Salaam, especially in Vikundu, Makuranga, Chamazi areas, the Tanga region and Mbeya City. Tamimu Kifungu is the co-founder of Team Success.
The problem was how to find the work and how to organize the other people to join to make one thing for the society.
Analysts say the windmill project is seen as a model for helping boost small-scale clean energy projects in Tanzania. But the funding for such small-scale windmill pumps is not there, and these youngsters are crying for help. The government helping you, or you're just doing it out of your own pockets?
Yeah, everything is doing it in the pocket and the support from the brothers.
Team Success wants to build windmills across Tanzania and perhaps beyond. And for that, Tamimu Kifungu and his team of self-taught engineers are trying to make the designs simple and straightforward and safer to construct. Their dream is to help Tanzanians become self-sufficient and resolve their water and electricity problems without reliance on government funding. Despite the challenges, Team Success's windmills have also brought big lifestyle changes to the communities they serve.
Most of the areas in our country have got wind. So we are using that wind energy and convert it into electricity. After finding we have electricity, we just pump water or even make the electricity for the homes and the other issues.
According to a report released by the Tanzania National Development Vision 2025, the country is endowed with diverse renewable energy resources, ranging from biomass and hydropower to geothermal, solar and wind energy. And so much of this potential has not been fully tapped. Paul Ndiho, VOA News, Magomeni, Dar es Salaam, Tanzania.
Indeed, local solutions to local problems. And it's time now for a short break. Still to come on Africa 54. Learn more about the Horn of Africa broadcaster behind the VOA microphone. We'll be right back.
In Nigeria, more than 90 schoolgirls are feared missing after Boko Haram attacked a village in the northeastern state of Yobe. In Mozambique, rescue operations continue after heavy rain caused a trash mound to collapse, killing 17. In the Democratic Republic of Congo, the world's largest producer of cobalt, the key ingredient in batteries, is planning to increase the tax on the commodity to 10%. In South Africa, Parliament announces they will launch an investigation into Mines Minister for alleged influence peddling. Finally, Liberian President George Weah meets with France's largest employer federation and lunches with President Emmanuel Macron during his first foreign trip as head of state.
Welcome back to Africa 54, and here's what's trending. Everything old is new again at the New York City Toy Fair. One big trend on display is millennial nostalgia. Millennial parents are drawn to toys that remind them of their childhood to play with their kids, from Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles to Polly Pocket to View Fingers and Light Brides. Now, the Toy Association, which puts on the show every year, says this is the critical time for the planning for the upcoming holiday season. Next up, a new luxury venue in London is enabling couples to provide engaged couples with everything they need for a luxury wedding, from the dress to the flowers, the invites, and even honeymoon, all under one roof. The Wedding Gallery is the world's first wedding department store. According to British wedding statistics for 2017, the average cost of a wedding in the UK is £15,000. And finally, Dubai does it again. Home already to the Burj Khalifa, the world's tallest building at half a mile high. It is no surprise Dubai has built the world's tallest hotel. The four-star Gevora Hotel is a golden-themed building, 356 meters tall, offering a full view of Dubai's skyline. The Gevora broke the world record previously held by Dubai-based JW Marriott Marquis, which had been named the tallest hotel in the world, standing at 355.35 meters, according to the Guinness World Records. And that's what's trending today. Now, the Voice of America broadcasts in more than 45 different languages, a number of which are widely spoken across Africa. Today, we are highlighting one of the many talented journalists at the VOA. Here's Africa 54's Esther Githui-Ewart.
She's a wife, a mother, an actress, an international broadcaster, and a violinist. Meet Mestawet Shomie.
Thank you, Esther.
Walk us through the journey of playing the violin. Where did this all start?
I joined Yarir Music School in Ethiopia. It started from there.
What brought you to the United States?
I came here to study music. I got almost half scholarship here, and I studied classical music a while, and I didn't finish it. I switched to another profession.
At VOA's Horn of Africa service, Mestawet consults her managing editor, Tizita Belachu, checks in with her colleagues for the latest news developments in Ethiopia, and edits her latest radio interview. She is minutes away from going live on air, but she needs to make a quick call to Henok Fente, with whom she co-hosts the popular Amharic youth show, Gabina VOA.
Welcome on board to Gabina, and thank you for having us on Africa 54.
የአርበኞች ግንቦት 7 ሊቀመንበር ዶክተር ብርሃኑ ነጋ ሌላኛው የጋቢና እንግዳችን ናቸው።
When we open these mics, we open mics for probably 70 million youth in Ethiopia. So with that, Mastawet and I work very closely making it happen. We work day in, day out. As you know, it's a grind, but when it's showtime, it's showtime.
ስናስተናግዳችሁ ያመሸነው እኔ መስታወት አራጋውና
ሄኖክ ሰማግዜርነን ዝግጅታችንን በቴክኒክ ሲያቀነባብርልን የቆየው ሞክቢል ያበረው ነው።
እንግዲህ በነገው ምሽት እንገናኝ። መልካም ምሽት።
Oceans away from VOA's radio studios, Mr. Wet is a household name in her native country of Ethiopia, where thousands watch her drama series on TV.
ዝምታዬን ከፍርሃት ቆጥሮት ይሆናልማ።
Her husband, Temesgen Afewoki, is also an actor.
He writes and he directs, and most of the time he edits too.
And he plays multiple roles in the series, which airs on EBS TV in Ethiopia.
It's a felony, which is punishable by long-term jail.
ለሱ 1000 መልሶች አሉ። አሁን ግን እኔ ለጠየቁ ጥያቄ በመጀመሪያ መልሱን ስጠኝ። በትዳርህ ደስተኛ ነህ ወይስ አይደለህም?
ሰላም፣ በዚህ ጉዳይ ላይማ ምንም ጭቅጭቅ አልፈልግም። ተይ ዳጂንጂ
እሺ
አንቺን እኮ
ማለት ያው ለማየት ትንሽ ልክ ያለው ሌላው ደግሞ ለስልክ ካርድ መግዣ ነው የወጣው።
ለስልክ ካርድ በየሳምንቱ ለስልክ ካርድ ብለሽ የምታወጪው ገንዘብ እኮ የወር ወጪ በላይ ሆነ።
አዎ ግን ታውቃለህ ማየን አሟታል። ለዛም ቶሎ ቶሎ ስልክ ምደውለው እንዴ አትኝምማ እንዴ እየነገርኩትማ ምን ታረጊዋለሽ? ሰላም ምንድነው የሚደረገውማ? ምንድነው የሚደረገው? ምንድነው ማድረግ ያለብኝ? አንቺ ማድረግ ከምትችይው በላይ ማድረግ። እሺ መንገድ ላይ አንድ ነገር ቢሆንስ?
There is no doubt Mr. Wet is multi-talented, but she tells me her greatest passion is music, and playing the violin soothes her mind as well as those around her. Astegidu Ewart, VOA News, Washington.
Superb, and thank you very much for watching. That's our show for today. Have a good night.
Welcome to English in a Minute. When you slip, you fall down. But how does something slip from your mind?
Slip one's mind.
Let's listen to Anna and Jonathan.
Look at this beautiful cake I made for the dinner party.
Oh no, is that tonight?
Yes. Didn't you make something?
No, it totally slipped.